Hey everybody, it's Brandon. I'm back with another knee-jerk reaction review. This is for Chucky, episode 5 of the TV series. On this one, I'm just gonna go flat out spoilers, guys. Isn't that what we all want? I just started doing the Dexter series, the New Blood, the revival of Dexter, which I'm super hyped for, even more hyped for than this. Admittedly, as much as I love Chucky. Sorry, pal. This was supposed to come out yesterday, but I've kind of been feeling under the weather, and I've had a plethora of shit going on this week, so I'm a little behind. But you know what? Here you are, and here's a new format. I'm just gonna spoil the shit out of everything, so y'all be ready for it. On this week's episode of Chucky the TV series, we get to see Chucky get high, kinda. Yeah, that's right. He gets tossed into a thing of needles by Lexi's dad. And he's over there like, what a rush, classic Chucky, awesome Chucky. But I got to be honest, this is probably maybe the least I like Chucky so far. And it's not anything he did. It's just he wasn't utilized as much here. There's a lot of the throwback, flashback sequences that we'll get into. But he was kind of, like the last episode, he wasn't utilized for a while because he was kind of out of action. Then was at the end. He might have been in this episode just as much as that one, but since it was more like beginning, middle, end, and was kind of spaced out, it just didn't flow as well. So I was missing Chucky more in this one than I was other ones. Nevertheless, though, we did get some interesting flashbacks here with the old Charles Lee Ray before he became Chucky, who's played by Fiona Dorff. And at first I was like, is this Fiona Dorff? Because the way they did like her makeup and shit, it really did. They did a great job of making her look just like her dad, with the glasses, the long dark hair, all those things we love. We see her checking out, or I should say him, since she's playing her dad here, this chick that's like having like this outburst on this guy. She's basically trying to like fuck this dude in public, and Chucky comes over, Charles Lee Ray at the time comes over and is like, like maybe offers the girl a smoke, all that different shit, and basically takes her back to a hotel. Now, at some point or another, this leads to a later flashback where not her, it's so hard not to call her since it is Fiona Dorff, but he goes into killing the girl that he brought with him to the hotel that was, kind of all over the other girl in the scene while he's sitting back in the chair, being a boss like Charles Lee Ray is. And the other girl is actually Tiffany. So we get to see Tiffany, kind of, for the first time, since this doesn't look anything like her. It's a younger version of her, I guess. And then, she's over here like, Charles, you should be called Chucky. Now, as good as it was, I don't think the girl that was, Tiffany did not remind me of young Tiffany at all. It's kind of hard not to feel like Fiona Dorff is a younger version of Brad Dorff, because it literally is, even though it's a girl version. But she dresses up well as her dad, and it works quite well. And she honestly is a very surprising actress, going back to Curse of Chucky, as much as that one surprised me and I actually loved it. But here we have, them like just taking each other in. Like we finally, kind of get to see that. Like this is how they met, I guess. And then if we want to skim a little forward too into the other part of the flashback sequence, this is what really threw me off. You see the actual Jennifer Tilly finally as Tiffany, and she's rolling around in the bed like in lingerie with Fiona Dorff's character in lingerie, and she's calling him or her, it's so hard to do, calling Fiona Dorff Chucky, which would make sense because you're like, okay, she's playing Chucky. But this time she looks like flat out girl Fiona Dorff. And what's throwing me off about this is I'm sitting here not even thinking that this could be like Nika from Cult, who got taken over by Chucky at the end. For some reason, that wasn't even playing into my mind. I'm watching this shit like, all right, man. Now, look, it's kind of believable the way you're doing it that this would be Charles Lee Ray, but when you got Charles Lee Ray with a feminine body and now he's cross-dressing. Now, look, I understand some of like the homosexual, things in this show, especially with the creator of, he's homosexual, so it's fine. But this might be going a little too far, like, and Chucky has boobs. I clearly see boobs right now. Like, what is going on? And then, of course, that gets all knocked off because they have somebody tied up, and basically Chucky collapses, and then a girl like starts talking. Then I realize her legs don't work. I'm like, oh my god, this is. And I don't know if that's something I knew or I just forgot, but I was like, oh yeah, like this is fucking Nika possessed by Chucky. But in the moment, I'm like, did they really? They got Chucky with boobs right now. Like, we ain't gonna fuck Charles Lee Ray with boobs right now. I know he's wearing like a trench coat in the original and we couldn't really see, but I don't think he ever had tits. So that was confusing me at first, but they patched it up and it worked actually really well. Like, I got rejuvenated. I'm like, oh yeah, they're carrying it over from the movies. That's cool. And I think I do remember that being a thing, but over the last like 4 episodes, I just kind of stopped thinking about that, I guess, for whatever reason. So that ended up being all right. And, Nika as Chucky does a damn good job. Once she turns back into the possessed Chucky, because she snaps out of it for a second, that's when her legs gave out and it all came back to me. Like, my brain stopped giving out and I remembered. And she ends up basically telling the guy, like, let's not tell anybody about this, okay? And slits his throat. And she's very menacing as Chucky. I actually really like her in this role. So that will be interesting. But I'm just curious if anybody else had this like brain fart where they're like, what are they doing here? This just doesn't make sense. But yes, it does. And I got to tell you, too, for you guys out there, my God, I did not realize Fiona Dorff had an absolute donk like this. She has definitely got some cheeks. I know you women love hearing about that, but damn. I'm sorry. I was kind of taken back by it. I was like, damn, dude. Like, I did not realize she was packing back there like that. So, very nice. Good on you, Fiona Dorff. Beautiful as ever, even though you oddly look like your dad, so sometimes it's weird, but I was like, damn. Fiona, like, put that thing away. Yeah. And as far as like the regular episode goes, you got the fucking kids teaming up, which was really cool. Like, you knew this was coming, but it was kind of interesting just finally seeing them put all their differences aside while also dealing with, the problem of Lexi not wanting to let Junior in because he won't be able to handle the situation. He might not believe the situation. So then that creates a weird dynamic because she's hanging out with these 2 guys and he's probably there like, hey, you're my girlfriend. Why aren't you talking to me? You know what I mean? And then other things with Junior, I feel bad for him in general in this episode because he's not only left out of that and being left in the dark, not knowing what's going on, maybe even for the best, but he doesn't know that. You can only imagine if you were in his situation, be left out of these things. But also what he has to deal with his dad, Devon Sawyer. He's pushing even harder on just like, you've got to do this. Like, want him to be this person. He's not. So that's very interesting in the aspect, like, you're wondering when he's going to break and be like, look, this isn't who I am, okay, Dad? Trying to get him to do, what the fuck, he's like a runner or some shit. I can't remember, dude. I watch so much shit. All this shit runs together at certain points. But you know what the fuck I'm talking about. We get to see Jake and Devin. They finally give in, and it looks like they're going to have a relationship now. So that's something that we were looking at. We were wondering, like, this is just brewing. Are they going to do it or are they not going to do it? It almost got to a point where it's like, just do it already. And they finally did. Well, they didn't do it, you know what I mean? But, they kissed, held hands. And, it was just like, wow, like, we're finally here with that. Because that was like a weird, thing from the standpoint of like, when's this going to, like, you're just leaving this awkwardness into the world. Like, just kiss and be something already if that's what you're trying to be. You know what I mean? So that was cool to finally see them, connect on that wavelength. Other things that happened in this episode. Chucky. There's a point in this, because if going back to the last episode where he was all deformed and shit. I was wondering, because he's looking in the window, because the little girl, Lexi's little sister, I'm blanking on her name right now, the dad got her a new Chucky doll, Tommy, just like Tommy from, Child's Play 2. And I'm looking at it, and for some reason, another brain fart. Chucky's looking in through the window, almost like maybe even jealous, like, damn, like, I need to get back in there. I need to do the swap. But before when he did the swap, he just stepped in for him. So I'm like, how's he going to do it with this deformed face? At the end of it, of course, they show it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, Ade, Due, Dimbala. Like, he possesses the doll. I can't be looking like this. And these dumbass kids that were ganging up on him, Lexi, fucking Jake, Devin, all them that thought they defeated Chucky, as if that could happen. Definitely couldn't happen. As a viewers, you're like, oh, we're going to kill Chucky off in episode 5? I think not. They're surprised. They're like, what the hell? We killed Chucky. How could this happen? Because what happens is the fucking principal, dude. Chucky chops her fucking head off and rolls it out because they're at this, like, Devin's mom, like, is presenting, like, hey, like, all this is going on, blah, 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 in the town. And while in the middle of, like, all that tension and her announcing to everybody, Chucky just rolls the fucking head out. And they open the curtain, ta-da, the principal's fucking headless, and Chucky is still at large. Overall, this is a pretty good episode. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it is just a wee bit of a step down, not by much. I think it's better than the first episode. But I think I gave the last 3 episodes prior to this all a 7.5. I'm going to come down a little bit off that and sit at a 7.2. But still, really good, really good. Some real high moments, some lower moments. Nothing really in particular that caused that, but just like as far as like keeping my attention, like I wasn't as enthralled with this episode. There's moments I was, moments I wasn't. It's kind of up and down for me. But it did enough to keep pushing the story forward as the show's done so well. And, gave different reveals and different things that make you go like, oh, how are they going to handle this? Enough to where your attention overall at the end of it was kept. And we get to see Fiona Dorff. We get to see Jennifer Tilly. So those are things that we wanted to see as, Child's Play, Chucky fans. So at the end of the day, we're doing good here. So hell yes, man. That's all I got to say. Chucky, back. Chucky, man. That's all I'm going to say. Killed it. My daughter's coming in and just trying to wreck the end of this. Can you wait a second, baby? I'm trying to do a video here. Anyways, guys, that's all I had to say. Love y'all.